Well, St. Louis, round 2 of the SMX playoffs. Track layout was tough. It wasn't very racy in my eyes. You know, it ended up being so simple for these guys that everybody did the same thing so much that I think the differentiation between the riders really wasn't enough to, you know, gain or lose much time. And I think that was the hard part about this track is, you know, there wasn't even a lot of space to make a mistake. And when a mistake did happen, like Jet coming out of that corner and trying to double in the second moto, you know, he still didn't even, you know, the mistake wasn't that costly because the track was so simple. And, you know, I don't know what happened. You know, I don't think the track was bad. I think the layout needed help, and I think that was due to, I heard rumors that maybe they were supposed to go in the back more into the convention center, and they didn't have a chance to, and you know, that could have played a big factor. But track was tough tonight, and I think that's what really made the racing difficult, you know, and it seemed like after the start, you know, it was really cool to see Jet have to come through the pack and be so close to everybody, and that made that fun to watch because Jet couldn't make up as much time. He was clearly, you know, seconds faster, but, you know, this is the section right here where Jet made his passes, you know, and he had to set it up and then go inside, cut down, and then cut down again to be on the right side of this sand section. And yeah, it was just a tough night. It was a tough night for everybody but the Honda boys. Joe Shimoda comes out on top. Hunter comes out on top in the 450 class. Jet still does, you know, he still does fantastic. Eli tried to make a push, and I think that was awesome, but I love Eli. I'm a huge Eli fan. You know, he's like the American motocross hero. Beast mode is something that will, you know, forever be legendary, but I just don't think that he has that intensity and fire like young Jet does, unfortunately. And that's not a diss on Eli. I still think he can do it, but I think everything has to be perfect for Eli to be able to truly execute. Now, let's get, oh, we got to shout out Ken Roxon for that second place in the first moto. Phenomenal for the amount of riding that he's been doing. Amazing. But I think the big statement of the night was Levi Kitchen pretty much just saying phew to Hayden Deegan, and he caught Hayden Deegan so off guard. I mean, he just went in there and completely took Hayden Deegan out, which is pretty insane. But I'm a huge Hayden Deegan fan. Everybody knows that. It's been said a million times. I loved Hayden. But if you have to do that to Hayden. You can't let Hayden talk that much smack to you every single day, every single person, and nobody's doing anything. Nobody's doing anything. And look at what happened. You catch Hayden Deegan off guard, you throw him out of his rhythm, and they're cheering for Hunter right now. You throw him out of his rhythm, and then he makes a mistake in the rhythm section, still ends up 6th. I mean, I don't know where that ends up in the championship. We'll definitely review that in the podcast, the implications of what's going on. But, you know, that was the big statement. And then Shimoda finally able to capitalize on that ride. Truly unbelievable for Shimoda. You know, I really thought at the beginning of the night that he was going to be able to straight up be a contender with Hayden, but he didn't have the speed after that first practice. He said he was super happy with the bike, he was super happy with the changes, and then second practice came around and it just seemed like he stayed stagnant all night long, which was super unfortunate. This is that section, the triple on. This is really the only even decently hard section. You know, but like even this section right here that we're looking at really wasn't very difficult for the top guys. You know, like all the 450s were all the way down to 20th place. We're jumping onto this tabletop and off the tabletop 3. there was really only one thing that nobody else was doing, and that was doubling out of that rut on that off-camber section. Here's a little look at the darker dirt here in St. Louis. Definitely came out really well. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, the dirt was unbelievable, and this is usually one of my favorite racetracks of the entire season because of the dirt and because of how tacky it is, and usually it delivers really, really good racing. But, you know, you win some, you lose some. Tonight, the layout in my eyes, I don't think worked, but I think they were relying on more of the convention center being usable. I don't know that for a fact. Hopefully we can find out in the podcast. I'm going to try to ask some questions and see if that was the plan, because, you know, everything inside the stadium was one line. You could pass from the finish line to like the wall over there, and then as soon as you got that wall, it was one line all the way back to the finish line. You know, there wasn't a lot of passing opportunity. I don't think I've seen a pass all night. I do think that this split lane right here behind me, this one, did work out better than I thought. I think the shallow lip on the outside and the steep lip on the inside definitely did develop equally, where I didn't think, when I was in practice, everybody was going inside. It wasn't even a question. And that was tough to watch, but a lot of cheers for Eli Tomac right now. Yeah, Eli Tomac definitely made a really good push in that last moto. I mean, Jet's the best at race managing we've ever seen in my entire existence of racing Supercross, and I would even say that he possibly could be better than Jeremy McGrath, even though Jeremy McGrath I don't think was tested the way that Jet, you know, was tested. So Jeremy just got out front and smoked him. But here's this off-camber section. Let's take a look at this rut. So let's back up a little bit. You're coming off this tabletop right here. Lots of cheers for Eli Tomac coming off this tabletop right here. Oh, look who it is! It's Anton! What up?
Are you seeing this triple line?
Yes. Go stand in that so they can kind of see how deep it is. So, Jet was, you know, doubling out of this somehow. You can see where the pegs were scraping right here.
Sidewall bite.
Yeah, and somehow he was getting out of this kicker and still able to out of that.
No, and it's not that big, and it's big enough.
Yeah, but it's really, I don't think it's the size of this double. It's the technicality of, like, if you lose traction right at the face, you've seen what Jet did and he got sideways. And you can high side so easy going the opposite way, and then you're losing time. Like, you're not really worried about how much you're gonna wreck. It's how am I gonna get the traction to pop off of it. You're not worried about, oh, the double's tiny, but it's getting that sideways angle to get the pop, to then transfer the weight back to the other side is really the hard part, and Jet was the only one.
And one thing to note, as you watch through that rut, here's where you would get on the gas. Chot,
yeah.
in and out.
Yeah, I mean, the kickers were unreal. This is the backside of that rut, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the big thing of the night was Levi Kitchen really just making a statement. Hayden Deegan still ended up 6th, but you know, you got to do what you got to do, and somebody's got to step up. And Levi Kitchen did that, even though he ended up 12th, which it's another hard one. Both the boys that we thought were going to win ended up doing well, and we go into the last round looking like Hayden Deegan and Jet Lawrence are going to do it once again. Hunter Lawrence definitely has a chance. He's got some speed, but we'll have to wait and see. Las Vegas, here we come. Peace.